Hi, welcome to Leyden, Massachusetts.
Okay, thanks.
It has a population of 734 as of the 2020 U.S. Census. Leyden is named after Leyden in the Netherlands. Why Leyden in the Netherlands? Well, it was a stop for the pilgrims before they decided to go to America, and the reason why they left Leyden was because they were concerned about the Dutchification of their children. Now, I don't know why they were concerned about Dutchification. I mean, wouldn't some more stroopwafels and bicycles be a good thing for us all at the end of the day? Anyway, we're going to see if this town lives up to the name by looking at its town hall, the history of a man named William Dorrell, and its town offices. Let's go take a look.
Alright.
Welcome to Leyden, what my friend describes as the most modern old town center there is. Definitely described by this town hall sign above, which has a font that is the first thing I think of when someone says 1920s. Not in a bad way, but that's what it reminds me of. Hi, this is Zach from the production couch. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I didn't mean that in a negative way, and that I actually think Lion Sign is very classy. I really don't want them to replace it with the new font. Please don't replace it with a new font. We also have two people here who are definitely did not bring up the Lion Bulletin Board, which is very similar to other billboards we've seen in other places. Unlike it, this one seems to be a bit more organized. By the way, I put in the script 1930s because look at this. It was built in 1930, or renovated in 1930, or had a star put here in 1930. Any one of those three options will work. It is definitely very closed.
Okay. A few moments later.
Is that the original?
No, it's not the original copy that I was doing the thing.
It's in the small piano.
I don't think we're gonna not play the municipal piano.
No.
It does now.
What do you guys think of this sign?
Orange. What do you mean by that?
Do you think you'd have that in many other places?
No, it's definitely a small town thing. Also, because of accessibility issues, I bet you'd be in a lot larger print because, like, if you couldn't see that, that might be an issue.
What do you think of it, Malone?
It's definitely something that wouldn't exist in a larger community.
Yeah.
Elevator in one of the least populated towns in Massachusetts. Woo! So it turns out that this segment that was originally meant to be like a few second joke turned out to be like a multiple minute process of troubleshooting the elevator. So I'm just going to put that in a separate video that's going to be linked in the card once it's uploaded. In Leyden Town offices, we also have many things that didn't just quite make their final cut. Like, they have this little cafe section, and it's a very neat little thing that I think they do for anyone who wants it in the town. And they actually also have a town charter in their town hall in the section that you guys saw. Yeah, Leyden Town offices was a lot of fun to visit. Also, don't ask me how I managed to get this sweatshirt on magically. I guess that's the effect of the production couch. This is a Leyden United Methodist Church. It was built at some point during the 19th century. My script does not tell me when, so we'll have to look for that on the church. This church has been, in recent years, having a bit of struggles to find funds. If you want to support this church, there have been fundraiser events as of recently, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. A link to donate to the church will be in the description. So, let's go, Alice.
Don't mind the monster.
More municipal services down here. I don't remember which ones they are, but we're about to find out. Well, one of my friends is going to check and see if that's the library. We're going to take a look at a staple of the series, the fire department. Today, this is the Leyden Fire Department. It is much like other fire departments in our series, including the classic Smokey the Bear. Fire danger today is blank. However, they have clear markings saying it's a fire department, and other markings on the building as well. basic things. For example, you can't park, and some of the people who have worked there. I think is that like a memorial? Here is something which is also surprisingly a consistent for this series. Again, it has a very retro, but not necessarily in a bad way, font.
Oh, it does appear the G is kind of falling off there.
Oh. Huh.
Notice the M.
It's the Leyden Highway Department.
The M's like upside down. The second part of the M.
Oh no. This one's gonna be hard, Zach.
This is Lyden's memorial site. Quite a few other towns have this, but they're all unique in their own special way. The problem is that Lyden's is currently snowed over, and I'm not entirely sure what we should do about it. Should I wipe out the snow? Okay. Oh,
You're okay.
I stepped in some sort of plant bed.
You're okay.
I might need gloves for this.
Okay.
I can do it.
Yeah, Lucas, can you do this?
Yeah.
I just feel bad for stepping in the flower bed.
Yeah.
Of the men of Leyden
Men of
who
rendered
yep.
something in the war. Service in the World War. 1917 to 1919, I believe is what I would say if we could see it fully.
I'd guess 18.
I think there's two more over there. Am I correct?
Perfectly fine. They're doing
Someone Brown. Carl. Wait a minute. Is it Ari Brown Weeks? Yeah.
Ari Brown Weeks.
Iraq 2007. This one looks like it's probably the oldest one here. Time, Vietnam 1966.
Glen Behind.
And this one is Harry Wilder, World War II, 1943. So yeah, that's the memorial here. Let's move on to the library next door. Here is the Robertson Memorial Library. It was established in 1837, also known as a free library, and has served as Leyden's small town library ever since. But will they let us in?
Is it open? If you pull, is it open?
No. I'd like to mention that we did spend a lot more time in the Leyden Library than we have here. We looked inside. They had the history book of Leyden. We met a really nice lady who was the person who was there for the library at the time. It was a good time. This is the town offices. Not a great angle to see it, but this is the town offices, the actual town offices, not just what we went into before. I'm not even sure what you would call that. Very enjoyable, but these are the actual town offices with another bulletin board.
Town offices will be closed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 12 to 3.
Well,
Cameron use?
Check.
Where?
No, you. Check.
Oh,
You want to wait?
the Massachusetts project was here. All right, so we aren't going in. And here's our replacement for a post office. I believe this is box. I believe that's what superseded it here. There's some actually things around the back here, including this shot of playground and the baseball field. Come on down to Leyden Playground. Our play sets may not be designed for this portion of the year, but you can find your own fun. We have many attractions, including our shed. It's what time to play. What is in this shed? Go take a dig using our quarry game, now half off. Or you can take on one of our high-risk, high-reward adventures, and you don't even need a contract. So come on down to Leyden Playground. Leyden Playground LLC is not responsible for any injuries. No, Zach, it's not the playground. It's Avery Field Recreation Area. Get your act together.
I don't know, just watch me what it is.
So here's a new addition to the town that might become as regular as like the town office or the post office. An internet station. This is like a little shed they added apparently around 2020, and it has its own cooling, and yeah, it's an internet shed, I think.
Probably why the town hall had so many signs for the internet.
I'm betting this is probably one of them provided by WIPSA Fiber in a new initiative around 2020, I want to say, that they did in order to improve internet access to hill towns like this one. Alrighty, post-Zach here. I just want to say two things. First off, that was correct. It was part of the last mile broadband projects, and Leyden was one of the towns to get a project. And they are indeed served by WIPSA Fiber. There's actually quite a few towns that we've been to before that are served by them, like New Ashford, Heath, Rowe, Plainfield, Washington, and Alfred.
Try to explain Dorlism quickly.
This is where William Dorrell died in 1846 from starvation because he lived to 90 at that point, and he thought he would live forever unless he starved himself. Like many other Massachusetts towns, Leyden can claim to be a family with a few other towns, in this case, Bernardston and Coleraine. Like many families during colonial times, this family has some pretty uncomfortable history. The reason why they exist at all centers around one battle in King Philip's War. King Philip's War, also known as the Metacomet's War, was a fight between various native groups of New England and the colonizers of the area. There was a battle called Falls Fight, or Battle of Turner's Falls, or the Pescataway Massacre. It occurred in modern-day Gill, and involved about 150 colonial army men, who devastatingly surprised native people in the main camp, while the warriors slept in camps a mile away. The colonizers easily won this battle, although it could be argued this wasn't really a battle and more of a surprise. This battle and Metacomet's War in general would lead to the expulsion of the Connecticut River Valley's indigenous people, and change the course of history. Again, because this was in the colonial era, things were viewed differently. Many British veterans had been involved in battles that mainly concerned different war participants, not just the people of the towns, but they were seen equally. In 1734, some of the Europeans who fought this battle asked for a grand frontier land, which was near the battle. This was called Fall Fight Town, near modern-day Bernardston, Coleraine, and Leyden. Each settler got to pick one of 97 50-acre lots, and many people could share a singular lot. If you had a bad lot, you could pick another one. East Leyden was in this setup, as the 1st Division contained some of it. Although after a little bit of a resurveying of the Board of Massachusetts and Vermont, some of the lots were actually found to be in neighboring Vermont, and some of the property owners became part of that town instead. This really does go to show that we are all margins of error at the end of the day, waiting to be redistricted by some larger authority. Sorry about that. Let's just go back to the video. Even after the auction was done, Fall Fight Town still had some land left over. So they decided, you know what? Let's just give some more out. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. However, just 2 years later, King George's War, an offshoot of the Austrian Succession War in Europe, occurred. Many of the nearby towns were being severely affected. Fall Fight Town itself, being a new settlement, didn't suffer much damage. So the 97 or so people in the town waited nearby Fort Burke for the war to be over. After it was over, most people left. Believe it or not, another war was on the horizon. This was the French and Indian War. However, it didn't actually do a ton to Fall Fight Town either. The town lost most of its population by this point, and people were still trying to resettle it. Therefore, there wasn't much to lose. This war wrapped up in 1760, which finally meant good news in terms of settlement. Things moved quickly in this time period. In 1762, Fall Town officially became Bernardstown, which eventually became Bernardston. Also during this time, work on settling more of what would become Leyden began, with goals of settling the eastern hills. By 1767, talks of establishing a road towards the western part of town began, and was completed as Couchbrook Road. You heard it correctly, that's the 1770s. That means it's time for the Revolutionary War. Leyden, like many other towns in the western frontier, didn't really need to get involved, as they weren't anywhere near Boston or Concord or Lexington. However, they were aware of the war's existence. This meant that they led a wartime effort, just produce some more livestock, make some more gunpowder, a wartime effort. Okay, I'll give it to you. Fight Town was a little bit more active in a war effort than that. They were actively looking out for men, and they were searching for loyalists as well. But, that's not as big of a wartime effort as I expect when someone says, we're having a wartime effort. During this time, there was an incident between Ethan Allen and a bunch of people in Vermont. Vermont had recently become an independent republic, yes, independent from the United States, and was on the American side. However, there were some people who still wanted to be part of New York, the place that the state was formerly a part of. This resulted in Ethan Allen chasing the men from Guilford into Leyden, as in, literally chasing. In 1778, the town got a little bit more serious with its wartime effort by recruiting men for the war. Towards the end of the Revolutionary War, Leyden decided it might want independence. The town had fallen to 70 families by 1781. Therefore, in 1782, a vote was held that formally separated Leyden from Coleraine. The name Leyden hadn't been invented yet, but they decided on it for reasons mentioned in the intro. Note that the petition they signed didn't mean they immediately got to be a town. They had to reach 150 people first. They did this in 1790, but instead far exceeding it by having 989 people beating out its former parent, Bernardston. It wasn't incorporated until 1809. Why? I couldn't find out. In the aftermath of the Revolutionary War, 2 Hessian mercenaries settled here. You would think that them being called Hessian would mean that they came from some place called Hesse in Germany, and that's kind of true for 65% of them. But in reality, there are more mercenaries recruited from all across Germany. We likely don't know where these 2 men came from, unless I have something wrong. So I decided to just double check and just make sure I wasn't embarrassing myself, and just kind of look at Ancestry. And it turns out that there's this public ancestry tree, which has Johann Hendrik Ud, which matches up pretty closely, and he was from Hesse. So we were able to find John Uda over here. John Millis, I was not able to find any records for. Although I did notice that John Uda was born in 1820 and migrated to Leyden. So we might even have him confused. So maybe there's no reason why it's called a Hessian settlement. Sorry, I almost got carried away in a rabbit hole there. Much like the rabbit hole that we got carried away in for William Dorrell. William Dorrell is an interesting story of religion, and he deserves a whole segment on his own, which we will give him because one of my friends decided that it was a good idea to research him and dug up a lot of information. But as a summary of who William Dorrell was, he lived in East Leyden near Frizzle Hill, near what was called a religious vacuum. He would introduce this new branch of Christianity called Dorrellism, which would temporarily change northwestern Massachusetts. One day, while cutting wood, a voice from the heavens told him to render yourself a fitting sacrifice. He was a fitting sacrifice. He was 6'5", and he was allegedly commanding but friendly. Given that East Leyden was a religious vacuum, he succeeded massively. Because of this success, he was able to push his own unique doctrines, not causing a death of a living creature, and proclaiming that all days are holy days. And soon, he talked about himself as being the Messiah of his generation, that he was above all law, and that he was like Jesus Christ himself, and that he was human flesh, united with spirit. This proved to be his downfall, as most of his flock disbanded by 1800. That's Leyden.
Wait.
Up next, a town named after another founding father. See that?
LinkedIn?
Oh my god! So, I hate to rain on that parade, but that's not going to be our next town. Our next town will be a shire town. So, for example, if the town name is blank, the county name would be Blankshire. See you then?